Hey you! So today we have a brand new figure, and this is the Seto Kiba figure. Now one thing I will notice is, I haven't opened them up yet, but I noticed that in here that the case is slightly damaged, so I don't know if that's just mine or if that's something else, but I thought I would point it out. But first of all, we have this lovely big window display. We have a Yugi face. They included a different one. You think that you'd include it in the original one, but he comes with a Yugi face. He comes with cards, he comes with a different set of eyes, very similar to Yugi. His jewel disc, his other face, the actual main body of the figure, and then you've got like a cutout in the back with all the different cards, which I'm hoping is separate and not part of the box design, because I'm not going to put it in. I'm not. So we've got the Yu-Gi-Oh logo with the 10th anniversary Figma. On this side is Seto Kiba. On the back, you have the different poses, so you have what he can do. You have the different Yugi face. Again, I was very surprised that you did get this. I thought that also, if you open the case, the cards would be inside, so they'd all be printed, and you get different faces. On that side, it's exactly the same as... Oh no, I thought it was. So you get a different side of Kiba. On the top, Kiba, and on the bottom, Kiba. So let's open this bad boy and have a look inside. So here is Kiba outside the box in the kind of plastic thing. Again, I have noticed that the damage is there, so I've had a look at it. So again, we see this, and we've got the different hands at the bottom. Here's Kiba, and first of all, I generally thought that he'd be easy enough to kind of pose and kind of stand up. But when I got him outside the box, he just kind of slanted to whichever side. And it kind of, to get him standing up straight, obviously using a stand, which you're going to see, it was a bit kind of off, like he was just meant to go on one side, but it just felt really, really weird. So let's have a look at him. Now, the hair is very bowl cut. He looks really evil. I will say this, he looks really evil. His eyes are menacing. He's got that kind of smile, again, menacing. But when we look at his jacket here, we've got the kind of the studs going along it. It says Kiba Corp here, which I quite like. And then obviously you've got the kind of like the necklace card, but when you look at it, I'll try and turn it around. It's not actually connected. So it's just, you think that they would have tried to make it look like it's connected, but it's not. Then you have the straps here, obviously the belt buckles. Again, very, very weird, but again, I think that's what Yu-Gi-Oh wanted in this one. We've got the kind of leather that's going down his kind of arms, and it actually looks like leather, even though it's not. We've got the Steve Jobs kind of like polo neck, which goes up. Now, one thing I don't like, and I'll probably mention it when we come to the back of his head, is that his head doesn't, it looks like it's just always slanting down. Like, like to try and bring it up, you have to bend it back so you can actually see. You've got his nice blue eyes, which again you'd have to see when you pull the face off. You've got the different eyes to look left and right. I think I'm going to keep it with these eyes. So let's have a look at the next part. When looking at this, we can see the gauntlets. Now these kind of remind me of something from like Final Fantasy 7 or something like that. But we've got the gauntlets there, the kind of really nice like kind of metal studs there, and his hands look kind of normal, like just the normal colour of his skin. The joints look fine. You've got the kind of like same things like with all Figma ones. And here you've got the Kiba belt, which says Kiba Corp, and then with the studs, which actually kind of stands out. This is the thing that really kind of, your eyes are drawn to the actual belt buckle. We've got the kind of leatherish type look of his leather pants, and then we've got here, which if you can see, are the kind of like, it reminds me of like a blue eyes, so kind of like fins or kind of like ears or something, but it's kind of really well done. And there's like, even when looking at it, it's kind of like textured. You've also got kind of ruffles on it to actually kind of make it stand out. So in the end, I actually figured out how to stand him up properly without the stand, and it was due to this foot, because apparently it was twisted and it was the wrong way, so it couldn't actually bend. So I just kind of adjust it, because I was like, I don't like the fact that it's not moving up and down, and it could be weird. But I actually had to zoom out, because you've got the kind of like the coattails. You also have the kind of like the red or the kind of burgundy. I really kind of like these sorts of straps on his actual feet. I think they're kind of really cool, and they set the figure off like perfectly. It just literally reminds me of Seto Kiba. And again, like the ruffles at the bottom of his feet look kind of cool. So this is definitely a Kiba figure. Well, Kiba looking. It is a Kiba figure, but it's Kiba looking. So I would just know that it's like this. I can't get my words out. Coming to the back of the figure, I really like the kind of the boots. You can see more detail just here. exactly what it is, and then you've got the kind of like ruffles on the back of it. Now the coattails really remind me of a Blue Eyes. So the way it is, I mean, obviously we know Kaiba loves the Blue Eyes, but it just looks like it, and it kind of makes me think, oh, you know, maybe the jacket could have more blue eyes everywhere, but the representation of it automatically, and I think it's just really nice. So as we come to the back of Kaiba, the gauntlets are there. You can see that it's fully painted all around. I think I've just noticed just there, there's a little bit of a defect on mine. Kind of the back of the coat, which I'm guessing are the coattails. If not, the main back of the jacket here, you can actually take one of them off. You have like this plastic wrap around it, obviously to keep it safe, but I'm guessing because I took mine off, it was a bit harder, so it just came out quite easily. And then you've got the kind of like the back here, like the kind of pointed part, which I think is really nice. It works really well. It kind of like complements the front part of it, and I generally like it. You've got the hole here, so you can actually put the stand in, which is what I was using originally to stand them up, until I figured just change the foot. One thing, when we look at the back, one thing I really don't like is the way that his head is kind of like moved forward. I thought that the neck would come back a little bit more, or the joint would be different. So I'm going to play around and see if I can actually change that, because his head just doesn't look the way that I'd want it. But it also looks like a Sim's head for some strange reason, like, you know, the green thing that sticks around. I don't know, but it just kind of reminded me of just them. We've got the kind of bolts, or the kind of studs around there, and they all go also around his shoulder parts. So I think that looks really fine. They're kind of like easy to move. This one is more than, say, that one, but it's still a kind of cool looking figure. I also really like the kind of like the ruffles that are going down his back. It's a really nice figure, the way that it looks like personally. As with all figures, let's have a look at the kind of like the stress test. Now, with moving that one, that foot seems a lot better. Originally, it was the other way, so you had to move it that way. So it works so much better. You got the knee joints, which are fine. So they bend quite well. With the jacket, we have to move outwards, like, yay, jumping. So we can see that the leg joints move quite, they move decent for the figure. So then we have the hand. Like so. So it moves quite well. And then you can move them like that. So and so. Now, I am the strongest. So it can move all the way around, which is fine. I have a thing where I have to turn it back. Gee whiz, sir. So the arm turns all the way around. It's easier just to grab that and do it. And then you can move the hand like so. Twist it. Like so. And then the head, you can move up and down. Turn it all the way around if need be. Turn it around again. That's it. Now, I don't know if I'm going to try and adjust it, because, again, I mentioned that he's always looking down. So I think that's one of the flaws I don't kind of like, but I'm going to play around and adjust him. Let's have a look at the different faces. So as I took it off before, the head falls off. You can basically just play. Oh, can you do that? So you can replace his kind of normal face. It's really kind of stiff, and so I kind of like that face. Yugi! Damn it, you are the king of games. So I think that's really awesome, the way you can do it. Now you can also replace the eyes. So if we go back to his original head, so let's replace the eyes. Really weird. So with that, I kind of like the eyes looking out that way. But the thing is, the smiling head isn't what I kind of like. I generally just like the angry face, because that's how I always see Kaiba. So you can see that the different eyes kind of really make the figure itself. I think that if I was to have this one as the main one, I'd have to have the eyes looking straight at me. So it would be these ones that I would have. Yeah, it would be those ones. Yeah, so I would just have it just mainly like that all the time. Last time that we tried this with Yugi, I think I had a little bit of problems with the dual disc. I think that it didn't pop out really well, and that it was kind of really weird to kind of put into the thing. Like, it just didn't fit properly. So I'm hoping that with Kiba, when you take his arm off, so you take his hand off like so. So that pops out. Oh, see, no, oh, this is what annoyed me last time. So you pull out the arm. Just how do you do it? Like, see, this is the thing, the joints don't come out, and this is what really kind of annoys me. I think that with Figma, they changed it so it's easy just to pull out. So I'm kind of annoyed that they, like Figma, haven't kind of done the same, because it just takes ages to kind of pull out and you risk pulling out the paint. So let's do that quickly. I'm going to try and do it properly and then we can see it. In the end, it took ages to pull it out. The best way I would recommend is grabbing it from there and just pulling it out. It was just very frustrating, and I think that what Figma should do is, rather than giving you this piece here, they should give you an extra one of these so that you can leave it in and you can just adjust it. It makes way more sense. And then again, like with the hands, obviously you can take it out. So rather than using that hand, and we're going to put on a kind of normal hand, like I placed this card. So hopefully I've got the right hand. So that makes it kind of thing. I'm going to leave, like, I'm not going to kind of take that ball joint off. It would just be a pain. So we just add this back in like so. I always think it looks, oh, have I got the wrong hand? Have I? No. It looks kind of cool, but I always think that when it comes to here, that just the hand looks really kind of weird. Like when you look at this one here, like it looks a little bit kind of different. I think it's just because the joint isn't all the way in, and I think that's the kind of like downside to it. But it looks like you can't really adjust it. But when you add the kind of the dual disc to Kiba, it looks really cool. I really like this sort of like the dual disc. It looks a lot better than Yugi's, I think, hence always Kiba wants to beat him with the best. But when you kind of extend the arm, if you can see, like when you have it both, it doesn't feel right. So I think if you're gonna put it back on, it needs a little bit of time that you can actually adjust it to make it look kind of cool. If you're not really bothered about it and you just want him to have it, then that's absolutely fine. You can have him pose anyway and you don't really see that. Okay, so I kind of just swapped over that one. So I know I briefly said it looks a lot better. Actually physically looks 10 times better than what it should be. So it's just making sure that you get that part into the right place. So just make sure, I think it's like you can tell with the shiny side. So the shiny side there goes into that on that side. That's how you know. And now that it's in there, obviously it looks like 10 times better. So we can see that it looks 10 times better like that one. So I thought I would just, like, even when you look at that, it looks fine. So a little bit of change. Like on this one, you've got the kind of the shiny part out that way, but I put it on, it's the kind of that one, so it looks better. Maybe I've got this like the wrong way around, etc, etc. Yeah, so yeah, I'm right. So matted side goes out, shiny side goes in. Now, one thing that it does come with is face for Yugi, and I think I mentioned it in my last review of Yugi, or the one I did of him, was that he needed a screaming face. He needs this face goddamn come off. So taking off the face, and also one thing I will mention is like to keep it safe, comes with like these like fake eyes, which I thought was kind of cool. I was like, oh, why it's like that? But Kiba brings the last part of Yugi, which is the Kiba, I shall win. So I'm really glad that they were like, do you know what? Kiba's got a screamy face. Yugi needs a screamy face. So it actually makes the figures worth it. So getting this for Yugi It's finally, after so long, has been a kind of really nice one, and it actually brings like Yugi a little bit more to life. So there we go, Rangers. There is Seto Kiba, and to be honest, I'm a 50-50 with this figure. I'm glad I have him. I'm glad that he came with a few extras, and I'm glad that he came with the Yugi face. What I'm not kind of happy is like the way that some of the joints are, the way that you have to kind of adjust him to kind of like stand up properly, and also the way that you take the kind of small like arm off. I generally think that with Figma now, they need to kind of do the same thing with Figarts, where it's easy enough to take, say, Iron Man's arm off to put on his major blast, or if it's something like it can just be adjusted. I also think that maybe they should give you more of the kind of hand joints, just maybe to keep one in there, so that you can actually like kind of like place it out. So kind of like sealing it in there, or kind of having them all on the hands, because you have to, for the hand, you have to hold the joint as well as pulling the hand off. That kind of works. And I think that they need to kind of figure out how to make the arm joint a lot better. So rather than it just being something where it looks out of place, it actually works a lot smoother. That's obviously where you have the Figarts sort of joint, and I think that would work really, really well. Apart from that, the figure is definitely worth it. I'm glad that they're bringing out the Yu-Gi-Oh range. I have a feeling that the next one is going to be Joey. I hope it's Joey, because I think it'd be really cool to have all these other characters, and then possibly after that you'd get Mokuba, or maybe Marik. I'd love a Bakura. I'd love an evil Bakura. I think that would be really cool. So I'm looking forward to all these characters coming out. Again, I didn't really kind of mention all the dual discs, but I really love the blues and the reds. They work really, really well. And also, if you can see it here, you've got the kind of like the buttons where it activates it for like certain cards. I think that's really cool. I'm going to hold them up there. I generally think this is a really cool figure, and it's worth actually having to your collection because it works really well. The detail's fine. And obviously now we've got Kiba, I think that obviously we'll get more characters later on. So Rangers, what are your thoughts on this? Are you a fan of the figure? Are you not? Let me know your thoughts down below in the comments, and if you've liked this video, like, favorite, comment, and consider subscribing. Check out all the other videos on the channel if you want to help out on Patreon. Link is in the description down below. And as always, Rangers, thanks for watching, and I'll see you in a bit.